very difficult, especially for starters. When you're starting up, like I said yesterday, when you're starting up, you will be the one to bear the whole challenges. I remember when I joined Longrich in 2014, a lot of things that we have today in the Nigerian market wasn't there. Our list entry level was silver. There was no Q silver. There was no combo. There was only mini combo. There was no starter combo. So there was nothing was easy. We didn't even know our preferred customer. So it was, if you don't have big money, don't even come. And even those who had the big money, I mean, there was no literature. We had no materials. We had absolutely nothing. We were just like groping, making mistakes, and learning from our mistakes. But you have that foundation. You don't need to make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you just want to make it by yourself. That's the truth. You can learn from our mistakes and leverage on that and do better. That's why I keep shouting about leverage. Leverage is not only for prospects. Leverage is for you and I. I must commend your unity. And I want to say, please, do not allow anything touch that bond. Do not. The fastest way to grow a country, a state, is to stay united. There is no team. It is one Longrich America family. Once you start thinking team, the whole of Longrich America is going to come crashing. So please note that. Do not say, I'm from this team. No. Forget team for now. Forget team forever. As soon as team entered Lagos, when I got into Lagos, 2016, we didn't do team. And that was how Lagos grew. Lagos market became the biggest market in Nigeria at the time. But once we all became big, we decided, okay, let's start doing team. Lagos came crashing. So try to avoid team. Once you start, or once someone senses it, please kill it. The next thing you need to kill is negativity. If you have any negative person in your midst, throw the person out. I'm not joking. Throw the person out, because one negative person can also bring down the market. Just one can bring down the market. Throw the person out. The person is going to be angry. It's fine. The honest truth is that in this business, we've got to be ruthless. I'm speaking to distributors, so I'm happy. You have to be ruthless. You have to be business conscious. You have to do things that people will be like, this person, you don't have emotions at all. But if you don't do that, there will be no business. There will be no business. So when someone comes with all this negative energy, you ask questions. I'm one person that, back in the Nigerian market, I will be the last person to attack Longrich. The reason being that whatever is happening in the market did not fall from the skies. We are all human beings. We contributed to it. So we gotta deal with it. You can't push the blame to someone else. That's the truth. So I always ask, when there's a problem, what did we do to cause this problem? Because if you don't take the responsibility and you keep pushing the blame, the problem stays. But once you take the responsibility and you ask yourself, what could I have done differently? You will solve that problem faster, even when you did not cause the problem. That's the truth, even when you did not cause the problem. So try as much as possible to tell yourself that, you see, this is my business. Carry it on your head. Get to the point that they'll ask you, like my husband is always asking me, is Longrich paying you for doing admin jobs? He's always asking me, he doesn't get it. Why am I so passionate about Longrich? Am I related to Zuziwe? I'm not. But I know myself. The day I allow this passion die is the day I'm out. Because once that passion dies, you start listening to all the negative talks. And once you start listening to that, forget it. No matter how strong you are, they can bring you down. That's the truth. There is something negative happening in every aspect of our lives. So why are we focusing on Longrich? Because this is the one that we don't have anybody to blame. We have some figure. Longrich, like I was speaking to some of us yesterday, is an independent distributorship business. There's a reason they have independence. It means you're independent of Longrich. The only job Longrich has, please mark this, the only thing Longrich can do for you is bring products to you. Everything else is your responsibility. That's the independent distributorship. There are different kinds of distributorship businesses. But Longrich chose this independent system for a reason. And then they give you a blank check. I've given you products. I've told you how you get paid. The rest is your business. How you market it, whatever you do. But guess what? Because over time, we've had one very amazing, selfless chairman. He decided to look away from the independent clause and decided supporting our businesses. He'll come to Nigeria. He'll say, I'll support you people with this. And all of a sudden, we became entitled. And now everybody's saying, but in South Africa, they are giving this. In Nigeria, they are giving. We've forgotten that those people also went through a phase where they had to be independent first. And then the chairman, when the chairman saw our efforts, or their efforts, the chairman said, no, let me support these people a little bit. He doesn't owe us that. The only thing Longrich owes us is product. They give you products, you do what you want with it. That's all. If you want to earn, make sure the products are sold. If you don't want to earn, don't blame anybody. So I wanted to start with that foundation before I get into. So I was told to talk about the compensation plan today, but I just thought to myself that the compensation plan is really, really bulky. It's a lot. And rather than talking about all the aspects of the compensation plan and pricing calculator, because I know a lot of people don't like maths. Once you start calculating, let me rather tell us how to earn and maximize our earnings. Because at the end of the day, it's money we want to make. True or true? True. So we just might as well just make the money, right? So you can help me with the slides. Alright? Yeah, please, next slide. So, as you all know, I like interactive session. And some of you may have actually seen this training already. I try to use this as my basic training for everywhere I go, and then we can take it. So, all right, we have very new members here. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I need to start from the beginning then. So I'll start from defining terminologies in the business. And I do know that even though this slide was primarily designed for the Longrich Nigerian market, we have a uniform compensation plan. So that when we get to something that is not applicable here, I'll just skip it. All right? So next slide, please. So let's start with defining technologies. We know what PV is, right? Who doesn't know the meaning of PV? Nobody. Good. So just as it says, for me, the only thing I tell people is that if there's no PV, there's no Longrich business. There can be Longrich products without PVs, but if there's no PV, there's no Longrich business. And when you buy a Longrich product with a membership code, you are given free PVs. People don't understand it. Because you can buy products from a store, you're given no PVs. So the PV is what comes with the products when you buy with the code. And so when you're having conversations with people, you talk less of the money and more of the PVs, because that is the business. It's our currency. It's our language. It's basically the bloodline of the business, right? But they come with products. You don't buy PVs. You buy products that come with PVs. That's the difference, all right? Okay, so it determines almost everything, entry levels, rank progression, and all of that. We'll see that as we go along. Next slide, please. Placement. For those of you who came earlier, Flo talked a bit about that. So in Longrich, when you're signing someone up into the business, you have two things you must provide that connects the person to you. First is a sponsor code, and second is a placement code. Longrich doesn't know your name, they only know codes, they don't know names. So, the placement code is where do you place that new member that you're signing up. And we can only have a maximum of 3 direct placements. But that doesn't mean you should introduce only 3 people. You can introduce as many people as possible. So the first 3 will be your direct placements, and the others become your indirect placements. So they'll be placed anywhere there's an empty space under your direct placements. So that's placement where you put the person. So there's a spillover after 3. Next slide, please. And then we have sponsor. That is who is introducing this person. It's not who is spending the money, who is introducing the person. So let's assume I signed up and I introduced Zinfon, Obioma, and Madam. They are my direct placement. I've also sponsored them. And then I decide I'm sponsoring the lady behind. Now, I will be the sponsor because I introduced her to the business, but I'll place her under any of the 3 of them. So, and there are, you can sponsor as many people as you want, but you can only have 3 maximum placement. And why is this important? So many things hang on sponsorship, really. When we didn't know, as at the beginning as well, we didn't even know, we were just giving out sponsorships. Until we realized that there are people who just sit, do their 30 PVs, and they did not introduce anybody. They just do 30 PVs and they earn huge leadership bonus and huge retail order bonuses. Because someone gave them sponsorship, gave them placements. So, and these sponsorship bonuses can be huge as you grow as well. So you have to guard your sponsorship, like guard it with your heart. Unless it's someone that you're very happy to earn. But yeah. All right, next slide, please. So generations. So we have 2 kinds of generations. Generations is just like levels. So in the back office, sometimes it shows as levels, sometimes it shows as generations. Generations is just levels, the number of people across each level. So we have a placement generation, and we had said that we can have a maximum of 3 direct placements. So your first 3 is your first generation. The 3 under that first 3, which will be 9 now, 3, 3, 3, will be a second generation, and so on. So I have this table that I created that shows the number of people in each placement generation. However, sponsorship generation is different. Sponsorship generation means the number of people that you directly introduced. So, let's say I sponsored the 4 of them, continuing from my previous example. So she is in my second generation placement, but first generation sponsorship. Do we understand that? So I introduced the 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, to my business. But I have only 3 placement slots. So I place these 3. And then I place her under one of them. So she is now my second generation placement and my first generation sponsor. Do you get that now? Because I directly sponsored her. Now, the second, third, fourth, for sponsorship will now be the people they sponsored, not the people I sponsored. The people they sponsored, and so on, yeah. And again, there's also some things people say that may not be true, you've heard it, so as we go along, I'll be correcting them. First is the impression that you must complete a placement generation before you start the second. That doesn't apply here. Good. Next slide, please. All right, so the next one is legs. This is like your 3 direct placements and everyone under each of them, right? So he's my leg 1, she's my leg 2, she's my leg 3. So every other person placed, not sponsored, placed for placement legs under them are all in one leg. Now there are also some bonuses or incentives that are based on activities per legs. So you need to understand the meaning of legs, all right? So it's not per generation, but per leg. All right, next slide. Okay, so the back office, I don't need to talk much about this. It's like your office. Flo has done a good job to talk you through your own back office. But when you were showing the back office, there's something I noticed, and something someone mentioned. Your commission tab. Choma mentioned that it's like you don't get the 5% that is saved. They don't save that for you. Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay. So that means all your retail orders you just pay cash. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right, next slide. Then rank progression. How do you grow? I tell people that in as much as the focus is on the money, but the rank is beautiful. I feel the rank, even though there may not be so many incentives in the international compensation plan attached to the rank, I still feel like it's okay, sorry, that was a drama. I still feel like the benefits are quite good as well. All right, so this is where you pay a little more attention to the PVs, right? What determines rank is PVs. But the beautiful thing is that for rank progression, the PV doesn't have to come from just you alone, right? The PV from everybody in your placement tree, not sponsor tree. Placement tree determines your rank. So I did an example. So if you look at the image, it's a group PV effort. Let's say everybody, so I have me at the top, like 3 direct placements, and each of your 3 direct placements. Now, if all of us are at 60 PV level, my personal PV remains 60 PV, but my group PV will be 720 because everybody within my placement tree, the PVs count for me. So that's 720 PV as I remain Q silver in entry level, but I'm a diamond 1. All right, so these are the basic requirements for ranks. Is anyone seeing this for the first time today?
No.
Anyone? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't understand until I saw the diagram and visual learner.
Okay, so it's clear now for you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So now the requirement for the first 2 ranks, Diamond 1, Diamond 2, is solely PV based. And I feel the reason is just because we can get to Diamond 2 on our own once it's 80 PV. But then your true, should I say, test of growth, of leadership, is when you start Diamond 3 and above. Because that's when you have to, the way I describe it, grow somebody to take over your current rank before you move to the next. So Longrich says, you want to go to the next rank, you can't leave that rank empty. You need 2 people or 3, depending on the rank, to take over that existing rank for you to go to the next rank. So it doesn't matter if you have the full PVs, without that rank, you don't move. All right, so that starts from Diamond 3, where even though you could have 3,600 PVs, if you don't have 2 Diamond 2 members on 2 separate legs. Now remember the legs I talked about earlier. So that's leg 1, 2, 3. So you can have 2 Diamond 2 members on leg 1, it doesn't count. So it must be across 2 separate legs. And it doesn't have to be on a particular generation. It can be anywhere in the generation. The placement generations, all right? So it doesn't have to be. So that's just it. And then we have the same requirements for Diamond 4, 2 people who are in 3 diamond rank. Diamond 5, 2 people who are in 4 diamond rank. But by the time you get to Diamond 7, you no longer need to carry your 2 legs along. You need to carry all 3 legs. So, I want to say this. I notice people who want to attain their ranks faster, they ignore the 3rd leg. They build, until they get Diamond 6, they now come back. And they want to start building diamonds, the small leg. You'll suffer. Don't do that. Start now and carry your 3 legs along. It's beautiful to be celebrated for a brand new rank. But what happens when the celebration stops? Because you're going to have to work so much harder. So make sure you carry your 3 legs along at every point in time. All right, next slide, please. I'm not going through the rest of them, by the way, so the pictures can help you. All right, so that's just the explanation. And yes, all PVs count for rank advancement. That's a good one. All PVs count for rank advancement, so it doesn't have to be just the upgrade PVs. The retail PVs too will count. And then there are some ranks that you will get some incentives. So there's travel incentive starts at what rank?
4.
Diamond 4. Okay. And that's how many percent? 1%. 1% of the global PVs shared amongst every Diamond 4 and above. So Diamond 4, Diamond 5, Diamond 6, SD1, SD2, all the way to SD5. All of us will share in 1%. Relative to our earnings, of course. Now, the next one is car. Car incentives, what rank?
4. Diamond 6.
Diamond 6. Car incentives. So, again, every Diamond 6 and above will share in 1% of global sales. And then the other one is house incentives from Diamond 7. And how many percent is that? 0.5%. So the 3 of them are called worldwide incentives because it's a global PV. So worldwide incentives. And then star directors, all star directors share in 1% of the global PVs. But unlike the worldwide incentives, where you get the points deposited in your back office, for SD incentives, it's paid cash. And that 1% is also broken down. I think 0.35% for all 1-star directors. And so at the moment, we have just 2 5-star directors. And so the 2 of them share 0.05% or something like that. So that's basically how, so that's the cash, the huge one as well. All right, next slide, please. All right, okay, so these are here, so. All right, so these are the incentives really that I was talking about. So you see at Diamond 4, you're only sharing in 1%. But when you get to Diamond 6, you start sharing in 2%. That's 1% travel, 1% car. And then when you go to Diamond 7, it's 2.5. And then of course, SD still have that, and they have the other ones as well. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
You're looking forward to this.
Yeah.
When you give up, you don't get it, so don't give up. When you give up, you don't get it. And I can tell you these incentive points are really huge and beautiful. It is good. Incentive points are really good because they can come in handy. I remember when I was building my house, I was trying to save my incentive points, but one day I just like, well, I went, applied for them, got them, and it did go a long way for my house, but I hadn't cashed ever since I started. So it can be good money. Yeah. Yes, please.
Please, so I see the percentages.
Yeah.
How do you get them? Like, how does that
Calculated,
and how do you actually get the?
So once you become a Diamond 4, it's automatic. Once you become a Diamond 4, it's automatic. Every cycle, the company calculates the worldwide PVs for the cycle. It takes out 1% and shares among everybody who is a Diamond 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of people. But you can see that as you grow, it grows smaller. So I remember when I was Diamond 4, I was seeing 0.0 something. When I got to Diamond 5, I started seeing 0. If I was seeing 0.01, maybe I was starting seeing 0.05 when I got to Diamond 6. When I got to Diamond 7, I started seeing, I started to realize I can actually get 0.1, 0.2, because the number of people sharing in it is smaller. Do you understand?
So every sign of
Yeah, you can get whole number points. Yeah, 1 point. 1 point is $100. So if you accumulate up to a point, you're getting $100. This is excluding. Yeah, this is excluding your bonuses and everything. It's just something completely different, and you just apply for it as it accumulates. Yes.
Is it based on your performance or like
Yes, it's based on your
level?
performance.
So everybody
Relative
gets
to
the
your
same thing.
earning
Okay,
for that
yeah.
cycle.
Right.
Sorry,
So that's
thank you.
yeah.
Relative to your earning for that cycle. So if you earned more than me for
Right,
that
yours is
cycle,
gonna
even
be
though the
higher.
higher rank,
Right.
you'll get more points.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not literally rank based, no.
Right.
It's relative to your earning for that cycle. So just make sure you earn well, your incentive points will also go. So that's,
Thank you.
yes please.
I'm sorry, but when you're discussing PVs, is there a certain number, when I'm dealing with people, they want really practical, roundabout, quick answers. So, about how many PVs is equate to how much US dollars? People want to know. They know what they want to
Beautiful
shoot
question.
for. They don't want to go through this education.
I
Sometimes
know.
they just want to know, like, what does it look like in
Okay,
terms
wait.
of
I know. Where are my communication plan students? Answer. If you don't answer, I'm removing you from my group. Okay, so the question is, how much? So, and I had to teach this during the conversation plan class because I also suffered that. People don't want to hear 60 PV. They want to know, okay, if I want to buy products worth 60 PV, how much is it in cash, straight up, or how much is a PV? So, but basically, let me explain this. 1 PV is easier for you in dollars. 1 PV for purchasing is going to be different from 1 PV for payment. Right? So when someone says, okay, how much do I earn if I buy products worth 500 PVs, for example? For you to work that out, it's going to be different from how much would it cost me to buy products worth 500 PVs. It's going to be different. Do you understand? So the compensation and the purchase value, they're 100% different. But we've already worked it out, by the way. So some of compensation plan students in US,
So
show
I think,
yourselves.
all right. I'll try, right?
Good.
So I think in the US, so I've seen where it says a 1 PV equals to $1, but that
No, it's not.
because I know, but because our alkaline cup is 60 PV, right, and it's $97. So I will go by 1.5
No,
to balance it out.
that's not how we worked it out.
Yeah, I was thinking it was that way too, but when I started looking at alkaline cup
Mm-hmm.
and people I was talking to about that
And
as
the
a segue
sanitary napkin
into
is
the business,
different.
it didn't make sense. I didn't know the whole compensation.
Ha! No, you who did this? Tell me. Tell me.
Get your question.
How much is 1 PV?
1 PV
Like in
in
Naira, we
dollar.
have it. 24, 1 PV in Naira is about 750 Naira. Okay.
It's not $1, like it will be 1 point something because alkaline cup is
If
97.
I want to buy products now, and you tell I want to buy 100 PV worth of products, and I'm going to ask you, just tell me right now. In Nigeria, if I want to buy 100 PV worth of products, I'll just tell you 75,000 because I know 1 PV is 75 averagely. On average. On average. So what we did.
Did not just change in Nigeria because of the dollar exchange?
No, it didn't change. So this is what we did. Okay, let me tell you for those, and actually I'm going to call you people, I need to know you people. I want you. So basically what we did was we added up every price of all the products in our market, added up all the PVs and just divided them. It gives you an average.
It's about $2.2 with PV thereabout.
So that's the thing. So as long as you've done it before, I can't remember how many. I have to go through the chat room, but I know some of you. So it's about $2.2 on the average. So that helps you. So someone says, okay, I'm interested in. You now say, oh, you can start as gold, and the person says, oh, that's 720, right, for you? 240.
240 now, right now.
No. So okay, that's 240. So the person now says, multiply by approximately $2. So the person knows that okay, I want to start as gold is $480. It's simple.
UK, how much is it?
These people should remind me I need to remove her from my group.
People should go back to physical.
Oh, okay.
Why
So
should
you
they
can do the same. I think UK too. Someone dropped it in the chat room that time.
I'm actually checking the chat room. Sorry, I'm one of your students.
Okay, so hi, you have exposed yourself. No wonder. Someone dropped the UK one that time, so it's easy to work out. It's easy to work out once you know, because there are people that don't want too many questions. They just want, yeah, they just want to know the basic and average. So average 1,000 PVs now I know is $2,200. So it's stuck really. Now, but the bonus one will be difficult because there are different kinds of bonuses. The performance, but the most common is performance. And the 3x3 table worked out the bonus one for performance bonus. So I think it's there. We'll get to it. But if not, the American leaders can show you. The 3x3 table is everywhere.
So are you saying for payment, it's not $1 per the PV you generated? Are you saying for payment?
For bonus payments?
Yes.
No, it's not $1.
No, it's never been $1.
That's what I'm
Yeah, I saw it there, but it's not. Well, that's not the best. Yeah, I've seen it there. That's what they gave us. They said $1,
This is when we
one
signed
PV
up.
for
This was
$1.
many years ago.
I don't talk Finnish.
We got this when we signed up many years ago. It's no longer in the Nigerian market, but I have that flyer.
Because I tried to work it out before, and I got a difference, and I was thinking, because when I asked them, they told me that they charge VAT, which is true. So I was thinking the difference was the taxes that they charge, because they charge taxes from our commission.
But
So
they don't
now
charge.
they
For,
need to
they,
do
they don't.
They don't charge taxes. When you do
They
your
tell you to file your
1099,
taxes
they do the
yourself.
taxes.
Mhm.
Okay, so
The
that's
payment
one
is
of the
accurate.
things I got from them.
No, that's not
And-
correct.
They don't.
And on another occasion, I got another thing.
Okay,
So
no.
I must be frank with you that we need a defined.
Okay, so let me tell you all the
So-
truth. Even in Nigeria, most of our managers do not understand the compensation plan.
Yes.
So
So
they didn't
we
tell you that.
really want
The
to know.
person who designed the language compensation plan, I heard the guy is a genius. He's dead now, right?
Okay.
Yes, the guy is, I think he was just probably one of the few people who understood the compensation plan. And the only way I seem to understand it was just like back calculation using back offices. And so when the thing,
Exactly. Hits right.
yeah, fits completely,
Same
so
thing.
that's just how it
Yeah,
works. So,
I can confirm that I've done the same thing too. I've
Yeah.
had to go in
Yeah.
and look at my commission and go through your training and all to see if I got it right and I got paid exactly
Exactly
about
that.
it.
So
So
you
they
cannot
don't take VAT or taxes.
No, it's
Yeah,
exact.
you
Mhm.
file your taxes at the end
Yourself.
of the year afterwards. Yeah.
And you
So
don't.
it's not
If it's less
$1
than
for
600, you're
payments,
not
so
going
don't
to
tell
send you
people
the
that.
1099.
It's-
So
it
it's from
depends-
600
No,
upwards.
it depends on the commissions. It's a percentage of the PVs. It's a percentage of the PVs, and so it can't be, if your one PV is not bought at $1, how can you be earning at $1? It won't work that way. So thank you for that question, but that's a bit over. This is clear now. All right, can we move?
Yeah.
All right, next slide, please. So, where to check for your rank progression? The PVs, basically. The PVs that will qualify you for a rank. When you go to your back office, just go to the last column, basically. And if you want to grow fast in rank, I shared some secrets there. One is build more D2s. Someone should have heard me, must have heard me say this before. So who knows why? The more D2s you have, of course, the more D3s you have. Remember, you need D2s to make D3s. The more D3s you have,
The more
for every D2 born, there's a big likelihood that there's a star director born.
Oh yeah.
Because the more D2s you have the more D3s. The more D3s, the more D4s. The more D4s. So it adds up like that. There's that accumulation. And that's the beautiful thing about our compensation plan. So if I want to grow in ranks, I don't talk to my leaders. I go down and look for people who are close to D2s. Help them. Because as they are growing, every other person will grow. That's why you do not joke with the people at the grassroots. You don't. They are the key to growth. Of course, the 30 PV maintenance order, we're going to see a table that shows how that impacts brand progression, and then creating a culture of brand switch. I really don't know the comparison of product prices here in America, but back in Nigeria, our products are more expensive than the very common ones. So same here.
Same.
All right.
Toothpaste is $7 here.
Okay.
Toothpaste in dollar store for $1.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the same size.
I know.
I'm
You
just
can even
saying.
find some for less than it. Yeah, I can imagine that. But so it's really sometimes quite difficult for people to get that culture of brand switch in.
Sorry.
And you observe that a lot of people will say, I want to use a particular Longrich product because of the fact that I have a problem. So people don't go to Longrich products when they don't have problems. They go to Longrich products when they have problems. But that also limits the number of product users. So, but when we create a culture of a brand switch where we are using Longrich products, not because we have problems, but because we are preventing problems, you see a lot more people using. So when you're selling Longrich products, try to dissuade yourself from wanting to sell solutions, but try and sell prevention. You find people hurrying up to pay attention to it. If you paint a vivid picture of what will happen to someone in their 50s if they are not using our sun cream, I'm sure the person will want to pay attention. But if you're right now telling someone with a beautiful skin, oh, this sun cream makes your skin glow, the person will be like, I don't need it, I already have a glow. So, when you want to sell, pay attention to a preventive thing. Paint that picture. Remember, people will not buy until they connect emotionally. Nobody will buy until they connect emotionally. So I did that to myself first. I connected emotionally to the products. I told myself I want to be 60 and be super healthy. I want to be 70 and be super healthy. And I know that these products contain natural alternatives that can help me when I'm 20, when I'm 50, when I'm 60. So I have to stay with these products. You have to sell yourself first in this business. Most of us struggle because we haven't sold ourselves. A lot of us here have not prospected ourselves yet. By the time you prospect yourself, you will find out that you will not be able to sleep without talking about Longrich in the day. You need to prospect yourself. You need to convince yourself about this system. And it starts from the product first. How many people here can boast of having used at least 60% of the products here in the market, in the American market?
Oh yeah.
I've used except lip. I've used except lip out.
You've used everything in your market.
Except lip out.
So you all have the pots. Beautiful. So, okay, that's lovely. So you need to start from that. And when you're speaking to prospects, and you're also making them understand that you're using these products, there's a difference. When you're so focused on trying to get them to use the product and forgetting to get that emotional connection, they need to know you're using the product. They need to see you're using the product. That is where the culture of brand switch starts. And when you're able to switch your brand, you find out that your team members will do that. I have people who tell me, my team members are not buying. Once they bought the first one, someone came and told me that, I said, since you bought the first one, did you buy again? I said, yeah, but I bought plenty. They bought plenty too. That's the truth. See, when you have switched your brand, you unconsciously talk about the fact that you have switched your brand. When you have switched your brand, you find out that every time you go to Walmart to buy any grocery, you silently wish you were buying that product with a PV. When you have switched your brand.
Right.
You'll be pained in your heart of hearts. Like, that is what it means. And at that point, you don't need to look at price tags anymore. So practice this and teach it and you will see the difference in your teams. And of course, I don't know if this happens here, but if you want to grow in ranks and you're buying products without PV, it's your fault. Especially now in Nigeria, that we have a lot of.
Not here, thank God.
Now you're going to make sure that doesn't come here.
Amen.
And if it's not here now, doesn't mean it will not happen.
What do you mean?
And that is the beautiful thing about being pioneers. Please fight, and so fight for your Longrich. If you don't fight for your Longrich, somebody will take it away from you. There are people who don't want network marketing. They just want to be distributors. There's a difference. They want to be distributors, and so they can distribute with or without PVs. And they're going to, and there are people who are also happy to be just product users. So guess what? If you have product users in your team, those distributors will take them from you because they may not understand the PV system the way you do. So whenever Longrich America decides to bring out investment, kill it. People have to strike.
I think they did before. They sent, I think last year, right?
Mhm.
So they sent, maybe the stock is right. They sent an email like, for you, if you get like $10,000, so you get 50% of all of that. So and I remember in the group, a lot of people said, yeah, I need PV, right? So I think that is exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So because if we bought those products at 50% off, so you're going to sell less than the regular price. So that's going to kill every other person's business because now, okay, toothpaste, I'm buying it in bulk, I'm getting 50% off.
Yeah.
So that's like I'm buying at $3 plus, right? So I can sell at $4. And meanwhile, the distributors are buying at $7. So that's going to kill the business.
So yeah, those are the things you need to make sure that you kick against.
Right. I don't
You need
think
to
anybody got
hold
that.
the value of PVs.
Right.
If you don't do that,
Right.
you're going to also get to that point in your market.
Right.
So
They had products that were expiring and wanted to push it
Yeah.
out.
So
So
they
thank
don't.
goodness,
Right.
no one really responded.
Right.
exactly,
So
exactly.
Right.
So that's where you also need to do that education. Bring it in and understand. Like I said, if you do not learn from our mistakes, you'll make the same mistakes.
Right.
So that's very important. So, and also the organic growth, basically. Organic growth means that you follow the simple system. You see, Longrich business is basically about use. Buy everybody, buy and use with your code. That's it. But if we're going, it's about a lot of people buying very few products each. But what people are turned it into is few people buying a lot of products. And that's not the network marketing system. So we have to watch that as well. Next slide, please. I hope my time has not finished.
We are here to 6.
All right, so another thing we also need to know about is the types of order. So I'm sure you have this as well in the American market. You have the first order, that's the first purchase, which is the first order that you use to generate a code. And for the first purchase, there's a minimum amount required before you can start earning. Minimum PV required, basically. That's the 60 PV, and of course you don't earn commissions on personal purchases made as first order, all right? And it is this first order that also relates to an entry level. And then of course the subsequent orders will be upgrade order. But we have two different kinds of subsequent orders on the existing code. We have the upgrade and the retail. So the upgrade order simply means you're buying it to increase the PVs that will move you to the next entry level. All right, so when you buy as upgrade order, it is added to your personal PVs for the next entry level. But if you buy as retail order, it doesn't have any effect on your entry levels. It does add up to your personal PVs for your rank, but doesn't affect your entry level. So that's the major difference. And of course, as usual, for the subsequent order, you don't earn on personal purchases, but for retail, you do earn. All right, next slide, please. Sorry. Yeah. So it's actually called repeat order. However, because you don't have the 5% thing here, it might be a bit confusing, so you call it retail. But the terminology is actually repeat order. So either you do upgrade order or repeat order. All right? So, but ideally, you have that money saved with most other markets. But here, you have to pay cash to do it. I think that's the only difference.
Right.
And then, of course, for this repeat order, if you do just 30 PV, you don't get paid on your personal purchase. But above 30 PV,
You get paid.
you get paid.
Love it.
All right, next slide, please. Okay. You do have maintenance order here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
Okay. So maintenance order, okay, for those who don't understand, is just the first 30 PV you do as repeat order. In other network marketing platforms, it's called auto ship. So, but it's not compulsory in Longrich, that's the only difference. But it's something you buy, you're supposed to buy every cycle to maintain your code. It's called maintenance order, but it's not compulsory. It is compulsory in some other network marketing systems. So, it's 30 weeks for each cycle, and each cycle is made up of, 30 PV for each cycle, and each cycle is made up of 4 weeks. Yeah?
Okay, so how is this new policy that you said at least you must do one
A year.
retail by year now?
Yeah. So there's the compulsion. It's compulsory you do once a year, but
Okay.
not every. Sorry, that's a good. Not every cycle.
All right.
Yeah. So it can be bought. Okay. So for you, still just bought as retail order. It can also be bought in bits. So you can buy maybe 2 toothpaste this week, buy maybe 5 or the remaining next week. As long as it's 30 PV within a cycle, that works. And yeah, from Diamond 2, it is compulsory for you to do it to earn leadership bonus and retail order bonus. From Diamond 2, it's compulsory. But if you don't do it, you don't earn. You can earn your other bonuses. Then, of course, it's important for car, travel, house, and SD incentives. It doesn't affect the VIP incentives. That's a good thing. All right, next slide. Okay, so this is why it's important that we do this 30 PV. You know, ideally, the way the Longrich system is supposed to work is, if we were all rich, you just do your VIP product. Just do your VIP, you signed up. Every cycle, you just do your 30 PV, and you just be earning your money. But a lot of people focus on doing the upgrade first. So maybe you start with a smaller level, you do your upgrade first. But I believe that if you want to make money in Longrich, pay attention to maintenance order. If you want to make money, because this is the only bonus in Longrich that has no clause. It has no condition, it has absolutely no clause. The only bonus in Longrich. And it's as easy as the fact that you and every member of your team will just do 30 PV worth of purchase as retail order every cycle. So if you want to show people that you can earn as much as $100 in a cycle, this is where you will get that. Because the performance bonuses, the development bonus, those ones have ceilings, they have limitations, but this doesn't. So, maintenance order is 4.5%. 4.5% of the 30 PV purchases of everybody in your placement tree up to 15th generation compressed. Why am I saying compressed? I may have up to 100 placement generations. But if my first 15 do not do maintenance order, I don't lose out. The next 15 is brought up. That's the beautiful thing. So it's so amazing that it's how much? $135 per person. So you earn $1.35, right, per person. So imagine that you have a team of just 20 people who every cycle buy 30 PV worth of products. How much is that? That's 270, right?
Yeah.
That's $270 just like that from just 20 people. Am I right? Or 27? Yeah.
It's 2,000.
No, it's not. So
It's 2,000.
No.
It's 27.
No, it's too.
A little bit.
Please calculate $27.
$27.
$27. So it's 200 people that use it. Yeah, $27. Sorry, $270. $27. You understand? So the idea is that
Not 130.
you grow gradually. Try to make sure you incorporate this into the idea, the culture. What we did in our team was, when we got this epiphany, we did an experiment and we just said, no, everybody this month, this cycle, let us all try the 30 PV. Even people who were not earning started earning. People who were not earning, they earned for the first time. They're like, why didn't we know all of this? Just like that. You can try that in your team, just do a sample and say, you know what? Or you can even incorporate it as on the onboarding document. Let them know that there are different ways to earn. You're going to earn from the performance bonus, you're going to earn from the development bonus. But this is a gold mine that if you make it a culture, you grow a team of 100, 200, 300, as you can see, the money increases. All right? So, what this table shows, I call it the 3x3 table because this is a bonus paid on placement, right? So, it counts 15 generations. And as you can see here on the table, the left is 13 cycles, and I calculated it in such a way that this table is assuming that every cycle, everybody completes their 3 direct placements. So let's say July just finished today. Tomorrow we start August. So let's say I sign Ogema up in August, and in the same August she completes her 3. That's done. She's good. Just 3 people for August. By the next month of September, those 3 people also complete their 3. That's done. So it's a matter of 3 per person per cycle, even though I'm using cycle here, right? But it's also about a month. So 3 per person per month. So first cycle, just me. My 30 PV, I don't earn from personal purchase. The second row, still first cycle, I introduced my 3. We're now 4 people. 90 PV from the 3 is what I'm going to earn on. And so that's $4.05. All right? Because they did their 30 PV. Please note that you can't do 30 PV if you're not a member with at least 60 PV. So
The
this is
system
not
won't let
for
you.
non-members. You don't just sign up as 30 PV retail order. You
I
must
mean,
have-
here the system won't allow you to. Yeah.
you can't. The
Yeah.
system doesn't allow it.
Mhm.
And then, of course, by the second month, the 3 people complete their 3 each. So that'll be 9 people. And now we're 13 in the team. And from that 13 people, we have 390 new PVs coming into the team in a cycle. That's also a lot of PVs that will normally not come in if we don't know about maintenance order. 390 PVs is a lot. And it's only from a team of 13 people. In fact, yeah, just from 13 people, right? And then from that 390 PV on that generation, I get $16. So I'm not looking at the narrow part. I get $16. So what I'm trying to say is this. If everybody in the team pays attention to that extra 30 PV maintenance order, this extra money can go a long way. And of course, the PVs will also help add up to rank advancement. So by the time you're getting to 13th generation, which is like your 13th cycle, it is only in retail or maintenance order bonus that you are allowed to earn this kind of, it's only here. So pay attention to your team number. And then as the number is growing, teach them. And you will see the money. If once you qualify for it, you get paid. There's no limitation. There's unlike in performance bonus where they'll say, oh, there's a cap. You cannot earn above this. It's only on this that you can earn as much. So tell yourself, sit down and do your projection and say, okay, even if I was to follow this and do this every cycle, we are all on 60 PV. our focus is on 30 PV. Everyone can be a millionaire in a year. Let's just introduce everybody come into the business with 60 PV, and then every month, every cycle we do our 30 PVs.
Yeah.
But let's all complete our 3 legs. Complete your 3 legs every cycle. If I've completed my 3 legs, I don't have any other thing to do than to do my 30 PV for the rest of the cycle, for the rest of the year. I'll just keep teaching and making sure that everybody does. You grow a strong team. You don't even look at, you're still going to be earning little performance and development bonus, but this is going to be the huge one. And it will make a significant difference. So that's where the 3x3 table is good. We have a 3x3 table for normal upgrade orders, but I'm just sharing the one for the maintenance order. Next slide, please. Do you have any question on this?
I love that slide. That's what I can see.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's like an aha moment.
Yeah.
Please just guide me back on the formula. I call it formula. So you said 3x3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. Every new person who joins your team in a particular month must complete their 3 placements in that month. And that person, those 3 new placements have a task that by the following month, they will also complete their 3. That's how you grow the number. Now, once you've grown the number, by completing their 3, you need 3 people starting with a minimum of 60 PV each. That's the completion. Now, by the following month, that continues. Once you've completed your 3, your only responsibility, apart from teaching the people to do the same, is to buy 30 PV worth of product every cycle. Just, that's all. And if everybody does the same, in 12 months, you are very sure of your $1 million or dollars. As long as the 3 keeps completing, yes, ma'am.
Right. So there's something you said in the class that I love so much. So,
Okay.
right. So that is by the year, right?
By the
so
year.
this is by the month, by the year. So assuming, I want to retire when I clock 60, right?
Mhm.
So I just decide to do this by the year.
Yeah,
so
you can
by
do it by the year.
the 13th year, so I'm still at the same
Of course,
place.
that's a good one.
I mean, that is a good
Yes.
retirement bonus for.
So this is
For my
designed to
generation.
be done per month,
Right.
right? Thank you for that. Yeah, this is designed to be done per month, but you can also say, you know what, it might be too much for me to
Right.
do it per month. I could do it every 2 months. Yeah, that's what I'm explaining. So you can decide you're not going to be doing it every month. I could decide I want to do every 2 months. So with my team, we have a target of 24 months instead of 12 months to create millionaires amongst us. You can also decide that you're going to do it in 12 years.
Mhm.
So 3 people per year,
Right.
you know. But it's about the consistency.
if you do it,
What matters is the consistency.
to free the
And
stress.
a lot of people have been trying
Just
the
to
3x3
retire.
method since it started.
Yeah.
And there's a very common challenge. It's the fact that you, the pioneer, might be so visionary and all into it, and some people will come up and be like,
Oh yeah.
I can't do it anymore. I've gotten my 3, but my 3 I've not gotten their 3.
Right.
And the month is ending. And so how you can combat that is
Right.
to make sure you're involved. Make sure you're involved at least for your first, second, third generation. You shouldn't stop prospecting. You support them. It's about placement, not sponsorship. So place for them, they place. I mean, one of my team members is actually actively doing it, and she does a lot of placement for the people, and they do not joke with their 30 PVs. So she does, they run adverts together, they get their placement, but even those who just join the team, who may not introduce people, still do their 30 PVs. So the idea is just to make sure that the culture is there. All right? Okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So in the case where you're doing this and helping with placement or doing placement because we're building the 3x3, how about sponsorship? How does that work?
I've told you from the beginning, guard your sponsorship.
Okay, so-
Don't give it out.
All right.
No, keep your sponsorship.
Okay.
All right, so the next one is sharing and bonus legs. All right. This actually applies to, so this is also something a lot of us don't understand. When you hear sharing bonus there, some people think it applies to all our bonuses. No. It only applies to one major bonus, and the other bonus is not really 100%. Yeah? Because they have conditions. So it applies to performance bonus payments mostly. And your sharing leg is the leg with the highest cumulative PV from inception. It's another mistake. From inception to the week of the bonus calculation, right? Because some people think it's for the week, and some people say, oh, you must have, no, it's from inception that determines the sharing leg. And your retail order PVs do not add, do not count. So don't go to that column that also includes retail order PVs. What determines sharing leg is just upgrade order PVs.
Yeah.
Retail order PVs don't count. So your bonus leg is the other two, and so it's not fixed, it can change. Next slide, please. Then, yeah, so how do you identify the sharing and bonus leg? This is, you can just take a picture of this. When you log into your back office, you'll know that particular column. So as you can see, we have the main PV there, 45,000, that's the total PV. The sharing leg is the one with the highest, which is the 16,000, and the other two are the bonus leg. So that's how you know your sharing leg. Please look at the name on the column, not the one that has repeat order at the end. That particular column tells you how you know your sharing and your bonus legs. Can we proceed?
Yes.
Some people were taking pictures. All right, next slide, please. Right, calendar weeks and cycles. All right, so this is the 2021 calendar. But we operate in weeks and cycles. And like I talked when I was talking about maintenance order, we have 13 cycles. And why is this important? Some bonuses are paid per cycle. Our incentives, the travel incentive, the car incentive, the house incentives, they all drop every 4 weeks, that's per cycle. We also use it to calculate the car and all the promos. So when the company is running different promos, they usually look at the weeks. And then of course, maintenance order duration is in cycles as well, so we don't get confused. Next slide, please. All right, so now we're going to go straight into maximizing our earnings. I'll try and run through the rest of the slides. I have no idea how many slides I have though. All right, so what is Longrich paying us for? This is a very important question. I always say that when you understand why you're being paid, you do what you're supposed to do to get paid. All right? Normally, I would have just made it a question for us to ask, but since the answers are there. Longrich pays us for playing a role in the market expansion by doing two things. There are two things we have to do. Number one, expand the consumer base, and number two, increase the number of distributors. All right? Expand the consumer base. How many people are using Longrich products? It's different from increase the number of distributors. How many people are distributing Longrich products? So we have the product users, and we have the distributors, and we have both, people who are doing both, right? So let's go into details. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So next slide. So let's go for the first one, expanding. So this literally means that we are paid for carrying out the activities that increase the number of people who use Longrich products. So the more people who use the Longrich products, the more money you make. So what are the activities you are doing to increase the number of people, not the existing number? Don't keep the number state, you must increase the number of people. That's number one. And number two, even the number of people using, how often do they come back to buy? What are the activities you are doing to get them to come back and buy? This is what you're going to be getting paid for. So I just feel like when we understand these activities, it will be a lot easier for us to say, okay, this is all I just need to be doing, and I'll be getting paid in these different ways. All right? So here, we are paid by PV, which means that The products consumed by these people must be bought with PVs. Longrich doesn't pay you without PVs getting involved. They're not a charity organization. So if you're buying products with PV to sell, don't expect payment from that second transaction. You have not technically increased consumer base, because those ones are just buy. The consumer base will be increased when those people start buying with codes. They all have their codes, so that counts. So that's why I was asking her, does this include buying and selling? To a point, maybe, but generally, no. Because what matters is the fact that the number of codes have increased. That's what, like I said, what Longrich cares about is that number of code. You don't know your name, just want to see the codes, and that's what attracts the market. Next slide, please. So what are the activities required to increase the number of and retain the Longrich product consumers? Next slide, please. So I came up with some breakdown. Next slide, please. I came up with some activities. This is it. Focus on the products, and like I said yesterday, focus on the products and the value the products bring. Get people to, get people to fall in love with this product so much that anytime they want to buy another product, they feel like they are cheating on Longrich products. I have them in my team. They actually, they feel so guilty. They say that they hear me. They hear whenever they want to do it, they just see me, I feel like a devil. I'm like, I don't care what about this. As long as you didn't buy that product, I'm good. You know? So a lot of us sometimes, I know the business is beautiful. So you want to pay attention to the business, the 60 PV, the business, but there will be no business without Longrich products. So try as much as possible to make sure that you get these products into people's hands. Give yourself a target to say, okay, every week I must have one new person who has never heard about Longrich products start using Longrich products every week. That will help. And then of course, very important is the follow-up. When this person starts using Longrich products, please make sure you write the person's name. Check back in a week, in 2 weeks. Did you love the products? Have you started using the products? Can you share any feedback? If the person says, oh, the person has a negative complaint, your customer service skill matters. As I tell people that you may come into this business and think that you don't need any skill. Yes, you may not need any skill to start. But while you're in the business, grow your skills. Grow your communication skills. I've had people tell me that they got that product and it did not work. And I gave them an alternative immediately for free. You tell me the bamboo soap is not working, I give you the telemedicine soap immediately. That's back home. I know you may not have so much alternatives here. I'll give it to you. I said, no, sorry about that. Give this a go.
We actually have four soaps.
Oh, you do? Okay, you have the white tea soap here.
Bamboo soap.
Yeah.
Herbal body wash.
Yeah, you have body wash. It's true. It's true. So there's alternatives. So you can, your customer service matters a lot. Follow up, get that feedback. You see, what happened, there was someone who bought bamboo soap for me once, this was many years back. She didn't like it. I gave her the telemedicine soap, she still didn't like it. But because of that act, she referred somebody. She said, it didn't work for me, but it may work for you, call her. She bought the product, she was not signed up. It was a retail purchase. But she referred someone just because of that simple customer service of, you know what, let's try something else. Don't even pay for it. It's a business, you know, so these are some things you can do, but get feedback a lot because this helps. And of course, be a product of the product. You cannot sell what you do not represent well. You can't come out with a face filled with reactions and you want to tell someone I have a cream, I can give you smooth skin. So be a product of the product, use the product, and try not to stay in a membership level for a long time. This is because people are looking, people are watching. Do you understand? They want to see that, okay, this product you're talking about, it's because you're using it that you're growing. Maybe let me be using the product, maybe to outgrow in rank. That's the honest truth. or maybe when I go, I'll earn better. So growth in the business is very important. And like I said at the beginning, take responsibility for your business. Don't blame anybody. Try as much as possible to take responsibility for your business, and it will help. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to add something to what you said about customer service and that thing. Of a truth, especially when you're dealing with the Americans, it is pretty easy for us to talk to Nigerians or that. But when you're dealing with the Americans, you may have to give something to get something back. And I'm sharing this from experience in my office. I think I shared that story on my Facebook recently. I just gave snake oil to a colleague in my office, a bamboo soap. She was getting married. She had all sorts of things on her face. I shared, I gave it to her, and she became a user. They came to my office for a meeting, and she came with another colleague, and she sold snake oil to her. I was just watching. And right there and then, they ordered 4. That other colleague that bought for the first time came, and just last week came to me, told me, look, she had wanted one for herself, her grandmother. She's using it on her face. She gave, her mother. Her mother has arthritis. So she came to look for me and told me that she rubbed it. Her finger that used to be bent is now straightened, and it's no longer painful. So she has asked her to buy more. And she had a keloid, a deep cut on her face that had keloided over. She was using it, and it had gone down. Unfortunately, she didn't take her before, but I took pictures that day. But the surprising thing is that she told me that, you know, something else I'm doing. Every night before I go to bed, I rub it on my feet and put my socks on. Because my grandmother told me that the feet are the life source of your body. I rub it, and I wake up every morning, I'm refreshed, I feel good. My feet are very soft. I was like, I've never even done that. And I've been using snake oil how many years, you know? So there's just so much power in sometimes giving something out, and the power of others telling other people. They may not want to hear it from you, but when they hear it from others, and that's how the business was started. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. That's true. Oh, but the snake oil, there's still a lot to be discovered. I keep telling people that Longrich products, you just have to keep discovering it, keep sampling it, keep discovering it. There's someone that said the thing you talked about, the feet, she does that with the sod milk, you know. So at night, she will rub the sod milk very generously on her feet and wear her sock. She wakes up to a very soft, well pedicured, you know. That's what she said. So, yeah. All right, next slide, please. So what are the results of when you do these activities with the aim of basically increasing the consumer base? You see, you start growing geometrically. There's this growth that comes. You are also going to earn active income. That is because you're 100% involved in this phase. You're earning strictly active income because you're doing all the activities that result in the growth of the consumer base, and also that result in retaining of the customers. So you're earning active income, and this is usually limited because it's all from your efforts, right? So you earn the performance bonus, you earn the development bonus from the PVs. But when you're doing this all by yourself, you don't get a lot of results because you can't possibly recruit 1 million people in a month. You can't do that by yourself. And at a point, you find yourself becoming a motivational speaker. Because it can be very tiring. Very, very tiring. And usually people just crash out. It's a good system in building this, but my point is it shouldn't be the focus. Next slide, please. You'll see why. All right. Next slide, please. Good. So the second one is increasing the distributors. And this is my definition of distributor. All right, so I decided to define it differently. Okay. A distributor is someone who earns income from distributing Longrich products. If you're not distributing the products, don't call yourself. So if you have a code, you're not a distributor yet. You've just opened the door. You've not entered. If you have a code. You know, so you need to start the distributing process. You earn from it. That's when you can call yourself a distributor. And in this particular time, in this step B, we perform activities that lead to the increase in number of income earners in Longrich, in our teams. So, unlike in the first case, where our activities was just increasing the number of consumers and retaining them, here we are going beyond just building consumers or building distributors. People who will also do what we are doing. People who are also increasing the consumer base and retaining them. So, Longrich will then pay you in several other ways than just the PV. It is here that you see things like the leadership bonus, because you're earning a percentage of their income. We know leadership bonus, right? Leadership bonus is a percentage of the income of the people you directly sponsored into the business, and even those that they sponsor as well. All right? So, if I build distributors and they earn, I earn. And this is not PV based. It's different. And then we also have, of course, the breakaway of their earnings. If they are also distributors, if they buy retail and they earn what we call breakaway bonus. I'm trying to talk maths and I'm seeing some people are getting lost. That's why I'm trying to be very... So, we have what we call retail order bonus. Or retail order, like we talked about. The first 30 PV, like I mentioned earlier, you don't earn from it. But anything above the 30 PV, you personally will earn from it.
Yep.
Now, if I sponsored you, I can actually earn from that same retail order that you're earning from. Because I have shown you how you can earn that, I can earn a percentage of it as well. Do you get the picture?
Yeah, but I'll have to do a maintenance order though, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. So, a key feature here is that you are going to have to basically keep getting income earners, celebrating them, of course. Rank advancements in the team is one of the things that we would really have to do in terms of activities. Next slide, please. All right, next slide. So, you see this one still has more activities than the other one. Try to pay attention to both the products and the business model. So unlike the first one where the focus is on the product, here you're also teaching them how to earn. So you're not just getting people to be product users. You're getting them to use the product and then going a step further to tell them that you can earn from this if you do this, 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 this. So you teach them different ways they can make income. You can also focus activities on income producing activities. So we define income producing activities as the activities that will actually generate the sale, not activities that will generate the lead. Some of us, when we generate leads, we think we have done something. Activities that generate leads are not income generating activities. Like you speak to someone, you make a post on social media, you go and do a presentation. It is the closing, that is the activity that generates the sale. It is the activity that makes the person drop the money. So focus on those as well. And those ones are harder, which makes a lot of us focus on the non-income generating activities. And that's literally effort wasted. Be a leader, not a boss. You know, leaders lead. Leaders show examples. Leaders do, and then say team, do. So leaders go in front. And sometimes leaders actually say, you know what? I am going to do this for you, you just rest. But what do bosses do? They sit down and say, my team is not working. Don't be that person. Don't be that person that just deals out instructions. Be that person that holds that person's hand until they start earning weekly. Don't just say, go and do it. I did it. Nobody helped me.
Mhm.
Do it. Be a leader. And of course, I talked about this earlier. In your team, don't burn bridges. Try not to. Kill all negative vibes. And always learn. Always create time to learn. If you don't grow your knowledge, see, I can say this, that ever since when I started Longrich till now, knowledge has changed a lot. It has changed. So if I wasn't attending several trainings, not by my leaders, so by my own downlines, I'll probably not be as good. I tell people that most times when I come out to teach, I'm not teaching fresh knowledge. I'm teaching knowledge gained from all the trainings I attend. All the trainings. There's no way I don't create time. Even if I'm in the kitchen cooking, my AirPods in my phone, I'm listening to a training. I don't have to watch.
Yeah.
But I know that this is the only way to stay in the game and to keep knowledge up. So always seek knowledge, and then make sure you onboard right and share expectations. Onboard right, onboarding means, of course, member orientation. When you have a new member join your team, please make sure the person understands what the person is. Don't just dump the person in the chat room or load the person with all sorts of information. Try and grade the information, just like you have nursery 1, nursery 2, primary 1. Don't just give all the information at once. What does this person need to know at the beginning? You train, just onboard gradually. But share the right expectations. Don't say, oh, I don't want the person to know that the person will face rejections. No. One of the first things I tell people is that you're going to face rejection is a business. That's the first thing I tell you. So when you see it, this is what you're supposed to do. Don't cower. Just come to me immediately. Let's talk about it. Even if it is in your family, as soon as it happens, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Because I have seen it, at least most of it all, and even if I haven't personally experienced it, I've had people who have trained, who've experienced it. And so we have worked differently, we have worked it out. And you know, when I'm going to be speaking, if Joyce faces a rejection, watch her method out of it may be different from Obioma's. So this is why you have to be personal when you sign people up. And that's why I'm not in a hurry to sponsor people. Because sponsorship means responsibility. And how many people can I literally be responsible for in a week or in a month or until they become independent? A lot of us focus so much on sponsorship that we forget that retaining such people can be more difficult. I'm not saying don't sign up as many people as possible, but if you do, please know that you have that additional responsibility to guide the person, share the expectations, have conversations with the person. All right, follow up on existing members. Some of us don't do that. We just follow up on prospects. Your existing members can be more powerful than your prospects. Remember, those are the ones that can become distributors. And those are the people you need more because they can build more product users. They can expand the consumer base. All right? Oh, sorry. Okay. My slide is off. I think we're almost done. Let me just look at my phone. Some of us already took the pictures. I have the slide here, so I'll quickly open it.
It's back on.
Okay, it's back. All right. No, can we go back? Yeah, team picnics and events. Just do team activities. Create team cultures. Ensure your team members earn. It's very important. And then pay attention to maintenance order and other retail orders. Upgrade to VIP is also quite important. And so I'm going to do the next slide. I think this is almost done. Sorry. Please, next slide. Okay, so this is why it's important that you also pay attention to the VIP. I know I've already sold the maintenance order idea, and people are going to be thinking that instead. But if you can, combine it with upgrading yourself to the VIP level. And that is because for every... Oh, I'm using Naira here. Can you check the different slide? Oh no, sorry. Okay, so I would have shown you the 3x3 table for the USD to show you the difference in what you earn. Okay, I'll probably just drop it in the group. I'll drop
Thank
it in
you.
the group for the USD because I know I have the one for USD. And then I'll explain it. Yeah. All right. So, what are the results? Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so, what are the results you will get? Exponential progression. When you build, so you don't grow geometrically, you grow exponentially. And this is the best way to grow. You earn leveraged income, which has no limitations at all. You're going to earn a lot of development bonus because let's say you place your first generation placement, they get, development bonus is a reward for developing new generations.
Yes.
Development bonus is a reward for developing new generations. So your placement generation, as it grows, you get your development bonus. You get leadership bonus, maintenance. All these bonuses actually come from large distributor base. And of course, the more results you have, the more you're motivated. Next slide, please. So in summary, you can only enjoy this business if you focus more energy on increasing the number of distributors. It takes a lot more work. Good to increase the consumer base, but pay more attention to building a team. And you do that by increasing the number of distributors in your team, retaining them. So you have to, of course, dedicate time and resources to building a team first. And of course, to maximize your earnings, you need to understand the compensation plan and teach it. You have to be able to teach to your people. So we have seen how to earn. You're basically earning by making sure products move. Products are bought with PVs. You're making sure that you're earning by increasing the number of distributors, increasing the consumer base. So the question is, which of these activities are you going to do? And can you give yourself the time, the structure, the system that will enable you to do this? Consistency is very important. Very, very important. So try and be consistent and yeah, I think I've done more than I'll stop here for now. Any questions, please? Thank you. Any questions? Although I know we're taking questions in between. I carefully avoided the calculations, so please, disappointed.
That calculation,
The compensation class too.
Yeah.
It's still going on, right? They can still join on that.
Oh, yes.
The compensation
Class.
Oh, well, yes, I do not have the live classes anymore, but all the videos are there on a Facebook group.
They should come and pay. Let's pay and join. Sorry.
So all the videos are there on the Facebook group. So yes, you can still join the group and watch all the past videos. And then we do have a Telegram group where people just drop their consents and have a conversation. Yeah.